Hello, I'm David Hunt and welcome to The Art Hunter. My guest today is a multi-talented individual with 15 years experience running his own company in film, television, theatre, production and as an actor, as we'll find out. He made his name in a much-loved TV series, which we'll be talking about that of course, but has moved on to focus on developing his work in theatre and TV and film. Can't wait to find out how he's helping and supporting all the young individuals and this new play that he's working on sounds spectacular. So let's meet him, shall we? His name is, what is your name? You're a famous actor. I know you from somewhere.
Apparently, as they say when people say, "Are you famous?" Yeah.
So do you get, Spencer? Well,
yes,
welcome.
yeah, thank you.
And do you get recognised? Can you feel it sometimes when you're walking down the street and somebody goes, "Oh"?
It doesn't happen that much anymore, but obviously in the heyday, if you like, yes, you can feel the eyes. It's very weird. And when that all first started, coming from obscurity and then Secret Life is what we're talking about, came on and was everywhere. I was living in St Kilda as well, and where it was shot. And
wow.
And you suddenly felt very odd, and so we all became a little bit reclusive for a bit because you just have to recalibrate, because I think that animal instinct of when everybody looks at you, it's just odd. I still get it on occasion. Every few months, someone will say, "Do I know you? Did we go to school?" I'm like, "No." So,
all right. Well, let's start back in the beginning. Where did the interest come from to being an actor to begin with?
So I think for me, growing up, when I was very little, my father was a club singer.
Oh, okay.
And my mum was a model. That's how they met in the UK, touring around, living that, sexy dream, or whatever you want to think of that. By the time I remember them, they were a housewife and a butcher.
Hey.
So you kind of think, and then a pool salesman my dad moved to, he kind of let that go. But he'd always had music around. And so through school, I think like grade 3, I joined the choir. Parents were very supportive of that. And then really the high school musical, we did South Pacific, and I kind of got roped into doing that and really enjoyed that.
And this is in England?
No, this is here then. I moved here when I was born here, but England for 5 years, then back here.
Right, yep.
So Blackburn South High School, that was, here in Victoria. We did South Pacific, and then I kind of caught the bug off that and really enjoyed that, and then just threw myself into the amateur theatre scene here in Melbourne doing musicals, and my mum in particular extremely supportive of that, and I really found a passion for that, and then got a dance scholarship when I was 19 and did that, was doing singing lessons, and then my first musical I got into as a professional was West Side Story, which was with Marina Pryor.
Oh, wow.
And way back at the Princess Theatre. However many years ago that was. So
you were part of all those amazing dance routines?
Yes, on the side, not doing the ones that Todd McKenney was doing. But and I actually was covering Tony in that, the understudy for that.
Yeah.
That was, I guess you'd call that one of my first big breaks, just getting in the show. I think I was 20 when I got in, and then I'd been in the show for a week because I took over from somebody, and because initially that season was only going to be 6 weeks. It was such a hit. They extended it, but then some cast had to leave, including the understudy.
Yeah.
So I joined the company a week prior, and then the lead, Sean McDermott, who'd come from New York, was sick, and so I got thrown on.
Whoa.
So with Marina Pryor and Caroline O'Connor, I was like, hi. An amazing experience.
How amazing, yeah.
A real, it stays with me today. It was such a life-changing experience. And the support of those two women in particular who just, and Marina, we were opposite each other the whole time. We learnt the ballet at interval. There's lifts and things. And she's like, I said, it's fine. I'm a dancer. Don't worry. And it was a real amazing experience. And that was kind of my baptism of fire, I guess, in that sense. And from there into Cats, which I think you've got up there. And then Beauty and the Beast for a while.
Spencer, you've done it all. As an actor. But let's talk about, leaving stage for this unbelievably successful TV show, Secret Life of Us.
Yeah, so Beauty and the Beast, I was working with Hugh Jackman, and I'd worked with Richard Werrett on that show as director, and in Westside was Ian Judge.
Right.
Ian ran the RSC, Richard ran STC and things here. Very intelligent, educated people, and I felt like I couldn't have a conversation with them about craft because I didn't know what to talk about. You know, I could sing, I could dance, I could smile, you know. And so talking to Hugh at the time and Rachel Beck, who was there as well, Hugh had just come out of WAPA and he was a big advocate and supporter as well, and said, you know, you should go back and study. And so I went back to NIDA then and did the acting course. Yep. And then came out the other side of that and into Secret Life.
Pretty much straight away.
Yeah, I did 6 months on Home and Away.
Yeah.
Where I married Sally, and then got out of there and went into Secret Life.
Right.
So,
and how life-changing was it for you as a viewer? I loved it, you know, like, and the love of St Kilda as well. I live in St Kilda as well.
Yeah, I can't believe it's 25 years ago that show was on. It was I think a groundbreaking show. You know, it was inspired by things like This Life and Queer as Folk. You know, great inspirational material. We hadn't really seen anything like that in this country. You know, we had a lot of the cop shows and it's like City Homicides and Blue Heelers and the hospital shows and the soaps. You know, no one had ventured into this sort of 20-something life. Yeah. And certainly not really touching any of the queer content. You know, it was the first openly gay kiss on screen, I believe, which is ridiculous. But I think there was a gesture towards something in Number 96 some years earlier.
That's right, there was.
But yeah, and then, you know, I think if I can be candid, episode 2, Blowjobs on the Couch, groundbreaking. So it was an amazing show to be a part of, and Joel Edgerton, Claudia Carvin, Deborah Mailman, Sam Johnson.
What a cast, yep.
Amazing people to work with, amazing writers, amazing directors, you know, who've gone on to direct, you know, huge big Marvel films. You know, it was a real melting pot of creativity that everyone just loved. And I think, you know, back then we had episodic watching. You know, it was I think it was Sex and the City was 8:30 on Monday, and then we would come on at 9:30. On Channel 10, and the marketing managed to piggyback and the audience moved from one to the other. So you got a lot of kind of water cooler chat week to week, very different now with the binge culture and how we consume. But and we did 26-hour episodes. So there was a lot of content. It wasn't now 8 half hours or 8 1 hours. There was a lot. And so it was a wonderful show to really explore in depth a lot of issues, and it's something I still remain very, very proud of.
Oh, and rightly so, rightly so. So here you are, you know, like you've done a lot of theatre, went off and, you know, studied acting, you know, like landed this great show. When did the interest then come about behind the scenes, which you are now, you know, like forging a career for yourself?
Yeah, so Secret Life, after that I went to London and kind of did some work on the stage over there, a couple of TV shows and things. And that experience really showed me that this was my home. I loved it over there, it's great, I love visiting, doing all that. But the idea of permanently moving there and staying there and working there as a base didn't really resonate. I went, but everything is here. So I came back here and just found that a lot of the stuff I was been put up for had gone back to the cop shows again, and you know, I think we all thought egotistically, naively, all of the above, that we would change the landscape of television in the country. And everyone went, great, Blue Heelers renewed. Right. I'm like, oh, okay, which I also did, and that was fun. But so it was kind of like, oh, this is not exciting, it's not enticing. The musicals at the time, if I recall, I think were probably nothing really for me. So it really started just from wanting to create. You know, as an actor, you can't sit at home and not do it. You know, it's you know, you have to either be asked or get out there and do it yourself. So I started the company to just put myself in some work, you know, and I did a one-man show called Fully Committed, which we played at the Athenaeum here, which did extremely well. And I'm trying to think what we did after that. I did a production of Sunday in the Park with George.
Oh, what a show.
Awesome show. That was amazing. And I think they were the two things that... and then I did my first feature film, actually, which is called Surviving Georgia, which had Shane Jacobson, Holly Valance, Pia Miranda, myself, and Caroline O'Connor.
Whoa. But that's so risky.
I think, you don't know what you don't know, right? So to dive into my first feature, I was very lucky to have the support. I've been doing some acting teaching, and there was a lovely woman in there called Peter, who I'm still friends with today, and she sort of said, well, how can I help? I've got money. I went, that could help. And she was very generous and kicked in some money to help us get that shot as an investor, which in itself is a big risk. You know? And that really helped get that together. And then just, at that stage, just begging everybody for favours, and when you come at someone with a passion and a drive, they will help, but you can't do that 6 times in a row. At some point they'll say, I need a check, and I'm like, I get it. So that was that one. And I think if you'd asked me at the end, would I do that again? I'd say never in a million years. And then the answer became never the same way, and I've produced many films since then. But they were the first few things that I put myself into. And then after that, I really wanted just to focus on the work rather than, because I really enjoyed the producing side as well, and discovered that scratched a similar itch to the creativity. A spreadsheet isn't always exciting as a script, but sometimes they are. So I really enjoyed that too. And it really just grew from there and finding like-minded people. And I think now it's 12 feature films I've done and 2 musicals and
that's a lot, Spencer.
It is, and we did.
So congratulations on that line, because you don't hear many Australians achieving that.
No, it's hard. It really is, and we did a lot of it during COVID. The content boom. I happened to be up in Queensland shooting a film we were doing at the time it all began. And I stayed up there for an extended period, nearly 10 months. And that was because we couldn't come back. So that was tricky, managing the relationship. I say, but during COVID, we did 5 films and a TV series. So
in 3 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just kind of churned that through and just kept going, because you get support from the state agencies, trying to keep the industry alive, which is really handy. Like Netflix, who bought a number of them, were just hungry for content, which is great. And we just needed to keep working and sane, otherwise what do you do? The theatre industry just stopped. Everyone was just shut. It's like harrowing to watch. And so we also
a lucky move for you that you were moving away from it.
I didn't have to rely on that. We could pivot and really focus on that area. And and I tried to drag as many people as I could from crew and friends and that into it, and sort of say, get up here and do this. You know, there's nothing in theatre, so do that. And a lot of them have stayed there, and now we're back in theatre. I'm like, no, come back. I need theatre crew. So,
so you've turned it around.
Yeah.
So, is there a few film projects down the track that you're looking at now?
Yeah.
As well?
So we've I've got one coming out end of November called The Infernal Machine, which is Guy Pearce, Alice Eve, which is a literary thriller, which I'm very excited by. Paramount have taken that worldwide. So that's the biggest film I've done.
Wow.
And then down the track, I've got 2 in development at the moment. One is a coming-of-age romance for a young kid called Liam Black, who's sort of fallen through the cracks of society, and then through meeting this girl, she rehabilitates him and shows him how to let other people in. So that's a really lovely, touching youth story. And then I have one called Thomas's Run, which is the working title at the moment, which is a queer rom-com set in a winery in the Yarra Valley. So, we'll all be there for that one. So,
do you need any help?
Absolutely.
You're in the background drinking?
Yeah, always. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're starting to, I hope to shoot that next September when the vines are right and for what we need. So I'm just, researching the vineyards now. So.
There must be so many projects that people are now coming to you with, a you're a bit of the it person to come to in Australia, are you?
Yeah, well, that'd be nice to think that. I mean, I certainly do get people coming to me now with stuff, as do a lot of people. There's a lot of production companies around and a lot of content being made.
Oh, but I think, Spencer, you're doing a bit more than the average.
Possibly, yes, yeah. But yeah, people do come with projects, and it's tricky because sometimes you've got to get that balance between finding something that excites you and not upsetting people that, you know, they've spent their time and efforts on something and they go, can you look at it? And I go, well, I need to work out what it is. Is it too close to something we might already have?
Yeah.
But
that must be hard.
It is.
You know, that sort of, because people are putting their months and years of their time
on the
line.
Then
all of a sudden, no,
yeah, you're
sorry.
like, oh, it's not for me. And it's not because I don't like the project. I just kind of go, I've got things that I have created, you know, and are more emotionally invested in, and this one's fully formed, and which one do I want to give my time to? It's just that, and it's but I'll always try and steer them towards someone who can help.
Good on
if
you.
It's not me.
Yeah.
So.
And it's that sort of business as well. You know, like our viewers out there, you know, like aren't aware of how much, you know, like heartbreak there is and time and effort goes into either, you know, like TV, film, or live theatre.
I think with films, you know, the classic story is it either happens in like 6 to 10 months or 6 to 10 years. It's not in between. You know, they either come together and go bang, or they take draft after draft after draft, and then it's not quite right for the market and sits on a shelf for a little bit, and then the market changes, and then you go, hang on, there's this one here again, and then it comes back to life, gets a little rework, and then 6 years has gone by and it's up and made.
Wow.
And you go, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But because we do have different tastes as time goes by, you know, and what's really popular at the time, and then what's, you know, like the cultural shift. I think you and I were talking about Bros just before, and how queer content is really finding a mainstream home now, which is awesome. You know, 10 years ago, no one would have touched that.
No.
They just say, don't want to know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, great film, but never going to work.
Yeah,
like,
and the fact that you've got one sitting there that you're looking at producing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Yes, I hope so.
And well, you know, and you already had that, you know, like in production in a way before all this happened with Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
So fingers crossed that's a 6 monther, not a 6 yearer.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So all of a sudden, you know, like you've moved into the whole film realm, but now I believe you're getting back into theatre and a musical.
Yes.
Why? How?
So I'm producing a musical called Midnight, which is, I think the best frame of reference is to say it's inspired by the Cinderella story.
Okay.
It's music by John Foreman and Anthony Costanzo.
Hey, John Foreman has sat on that couch.
I knew something was wrong with his couch. Damn it.
And his dog next to him.
Fred. Yeah. Yes, little Fred, of course. I should have brought mine in. And we've got an additional material by Kate Miller-Heike as well, which is lovely.
Wow.
And the impetus for that came about through the book writers, two chaps called Dee Murphy and Pip Mushin, who both have young daughters, and just responding to, I think, this idea that, you know, the Cinderella character has been around for centuries. Disney really almost took ownership of it in the 50s with their animated feature. But unlike a lot of their other characters, you know, she has been kept as a classic. You know, so if you want to look at role models for young kids these days, you know, particularly girls, I'm not sure you'd necessarily say that the morals that came from the 1950s Cinderella are the ones that you would want to table for young girls of today. Disney have obviously, you know, done a lot in that space with the likes of Pocahontas and Belle, Frozen. You know, hugely so, and awesome work. But it leaves Cinderella, that character, who has permeated culture so widely, there and available for a reimagining in many ways.
Yeah.
And so we felt there was no definitive musical of it out there. Their film is not musical, and with what's been on stage, you know, in the States, here, UK, we really felt it could work. And so we started 6 and a bit years ago.
Whoa.
Writing
Whoa.
And getting this underway, and really looking at how we take those classic moments within that story and really make sure that Ella, as we know her in our story, is empowered, strong, passionate, feisty, driven, a girl who wants to change the world and make a difference and help people and caring, and yet she still hits all these problems. Like I talk about, in the classic story, that the stepmother shuts her in the attic and she sits there as a victim waiting to be saved. And that is not what we want, because I look at that, if you put your logic filter on, you go, can't you kick a door down? Can't you break a window? Like what's going on here? Like if you're really trying to say, well, what would happen? Like if you shut someone in an attic now, didn't chain them up or do everything, they'd be out in 4 seconds. So you've got to answer those questions when you're going to design a character that is truthful and honest and driven. And so for us, as an example, her father passes away during our show.
Right.
And so it's really the grief that makes her inert. So she's willing to stay there because she's just grieving. And as soon as she starts to come through that, she's up and out, and you go, I can understand that, but I can't understand just being shut there and it just says, what would I do? How would I help myself? That's what we really wanted to try and redress. And I think the team's done a wonderful job musically. It's flavours of classic Broadway, but very contemporary. Huge, big soaring moments, We get asked a number of times, has it got a defying gravity kind of moment? And I guess you would say, yes, it does. There's some amazing, big songs that Ella has to deliver.
Yeah.
And some great comedy in there as well, a little touch of Spamalot for the King at one point,
Brilliant.
which I like, and which Foreman's written called Being the King, which, it's a good one.
Spencer, developing something like this must be so exciting as well. A lot of hard work, but like when you telling those little stories, like, oh yeah, let's do that with the King, and let's do this, let's do that. It's nice, isn't it?
It is creatively rewarding because we can do anything. There's no limit. She's not under copyright. It's not based on a book or anything. There's hundreds and hundreds of versions of this story across time. Every Christmas in the UK, there's another 50 that come up. You go, okay, in the panto world. So we can go anywhere, and it's really been wonderful to kind of lock onto, I guess, the message you want to send, which for us really is that you can make a difference, and permeate that through a story. Okay, how can we tell this? What can we do? And using humour and also, I've always found, that because I've always been a fan of musicals, music is very powerful. It's why TV shows are underscored, film is underscored. It's why the symphony works. It appeals to you on a different level. So a musical is exactly that, and it gives us the ability to, I think, really connect in a different way.
And like going through the audition period, and and some of the talent you're discovering and going, whoa, I didn't see this coming. That must be exciting.
Yeah, we've done an extensive search for people and really open to everybody. We're not putting any limits on it from cultural background, from ability, disability background, from size, shape, autism, everything. Anybody could come in, and we've seen such an astounding array of talent, and very, very excited by the team we're managing to get on stage.
Fantastic. So when's it happening? What's what's the next move?
Yeah, so Midnight will actually open. It's towards the end of June at the Comedy Theatre in Melbourne.
And again, Spencer, it's that whole thing. June, is such a long way off. And you've got to plan that much in advance, don't you?
You do. You really do. I mean, it's very competitive out there to get stage space at the moment because with COVID, there's a lot of shows that didn't come, so they're all desperate to kind of get in. So
there's one at Home and Away, not Home and Away.
Come From Away
isn't trying to steal your spot
for the fourth time. Damn it. No, but Jason Mariner, who you've had on this show as well, he's always been a big supporter of our work, and So I'm really thrilled that we're able to
Brilliant.
to get in there, and so we're going to start there, and then hopefully tour beyond. So it's probably 2024 Tony Awards. You'll see us. I hope, we'll see.
So what about that side of it though? Like, are you bringing producers out next year when it's?
Well, yeah. So I think it's a real chance for us to, because it's a new show. It's not like opening Wicked, where you open the box and it's done, and you're replicating something that's already a proven success. We have to find our feet and do that. So we will use that season absolutely to showcase it, and see where we go from here, and if we can partner for the UK and the US.
And the good thing is, Spencer, is that Come From Away, which when it arrived here in Melbourne, we didn't know anything about it, and became a sensation, word of mouth. Six, the musical, the Six Wives of Henry VIII, likewise, a lot of people didn't know, and the word of mouth spread, and you found it hard getting a ticket in the end. So there's a real chance that this is going to be
both
big.
shows at the Comedy.
They are.
So we'll be third time's a charm.
Yeah.
So there is a real chance, and I hope we can get out there with the publicity and share some of the music, and people with social media these days can really get behind it, and it's local, which is important. It's actually an all Melbourne creative team. Obviously all Australian cast, and which we're just really, really excited by.
Yeah. Well, I wish you all the very best of luck with it, and I know just the feeling behind it, it's going to work.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it. And what we've got to do is get you back on this show when it's out, so we can talk more about it, because well, all the very best with it. And lovely chatting with you today.
Likewise, David.
You've been watching The Art Hunter. I'm David Hunt, and we'll see you again next week. See ya.